Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be sharing how I curl and style my hair using the T3 Whirl Trio wand. I've used all three barrels, I've had plenty of practice at this point, and I've got some great tips and tricks to help your curls last longer with less damage. And then at the end, I will be sharing my full review on the T3. Let me just start by saying that I am a beginner, novice, level 1 if there was one. So if I can learn how to do this, you can definitely learn how to do this too. Before we begin, if you're new here, welcome. I am so happy to have you. This is our pink sparkly bubble on YouTube, where we talk about luxury, beauty, fragrance, everything glam in between. So we hope you'll join our community by subscribing, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. This is all of my natural hair in its natural, fluffy, frizzy, very poofy state. That's right, we are starting from the very beginning. So I pulled out my T3 bag. Here I have the base and then the 1-inch barrel wand. I'm gonna plug this in so I can start to heat up. Attaching the barrel to the base is very simple. There are 3 prongs that you line up with the 3 holes. Once you're able to do so, you click it in and then you'll turn this little dial from unlocked to locked. I have the wand set up right here. It's heating up to level 3. And while we're waiting for that to heat up, I'm going to begin with my first tip. And this comes from personal experience. Do not dry your hair with heat if you can avoid it. What I like to do is wash my hair the night before, let it air dry overnight, and then I'll heat style in the morning. If you can't do that, because sometimes with our schedules and timing, it just doesn't work out that way, blow dry your hair on the lowest possible heat or even a cool shot for the entire time. All right, the T3 is now ready to go. I know for sure because the 3 lights are solid. So before we begin, the first step is to divide my hair into sections. It makes it so much easier to maneuver around when you don't have all of your hair just flying all over the place. I like to pin in quadrants, so I'll take the first half of my hair up. Gotta make sure it's nice and secure, and then I split it down the middle. It's very important to split it down the middle so you have a left side and a right side, because you want the hair to curl away from the face. So you have to use a different technique for this side of the hair and a different technique for this side of the hair. This is such a crucial step. It is not going to matter if you skip the hot blow dry, but then you go straight in with the hot tool without prepping your hair first. So I've been using this Oribe Mystify Restyling Spray. I believe this protects up to 450 degrees, which is ridiculous. That is way too hot. I like to wait to spray this until after I've sectioned the hair. It's so much better than spraying this all over a full head of hair because it would miss most of it. There would maybe be 5 strands protected. This way you get as much as possible. And this is also another very crucial step. You want to protect yourself at all costs. Take a small section of hair, and I usually start in the front and then work my way back. I have the first piece of hair in my right hand, the wand in my left, and I'm going to angle it down before I wrap. I'm also not going to wrap the end of the hair. Hold it for just a couple seconds. And I'm going to let the curl fall into my hand. I'm going to hold it and let it cool for a few seconds before I drop it. This step is something that I picked up in a salon, and it makes a huge difference. It actually works, and I can show you. Whenever I wrap the hair, if I just let it fall, gravity does its thing and it completely falls. Whereas if I hold the hair, let it cool for a few seconds, I mean, you don't have to stay there forever, it maintains a lot of spring. And I realize that this is not the desired look. This is not what we want our hair to look like in the end, but it's going to fall naturally. So the point is, while it's hot, while it's still cooling down, keep it as tight as possible. I could have curled the end a little bit more. And then you do the same thing all over again. So here's my second piece. I try to wrap as quickly as possible. See how much spring that has? Makes a huge difference to hold the curl. The first time I used the wand, I used the level 4 heat setting, 4 out of 5, and it was way too hot on my hair. So I'm using 3 today. I could probably get away with using level 2, and really, the lower the heat, the better. I'm going to share a bad piece of advice I got once in a salon. The lady who was styling my hair told me that she really liked to use the highest level of heat, but just go really fast with the hot tool. After she styled my hair, it never felt the same. I know for a fact that she damaged my hair that day. This curl turned out perfect. It is so cute and bouncy. But it just goes to show that you can't always trust the working professional at the salon. There are a lot of talented, just amazing hairstylists out there that really know what they're doing. And then there are some people who just have their own method, and their method may work really great for some of their clients, but not for you. I don't know a single person that doesn't have at least one salon horror story. I know I have many to tell. I think you're lucky if you only have one salon horror story. There is nobody who is going to care about your hair and care about preventing damage with your hair more than you. You are going to be the only one who cares that much about protecting your hair. So it's nice to be able to learn how to style it yourself. And that's really one of the main reasons why I wanted to learn how to style my own hair. I might be rushing to get ready in the morning, but I'll never be rushing because of my next appointment, or I'm backed up, or I'm busy, or I'm in a bad mood, or I'm distracted. There have been so many times when I've had my hair styled, and even just brushing my hair out, they're really harsh and just go like this with the hairbrush, and it gives me anxiety even to think about right now. I want to show you what happens when I don't hold the curl after. You see, it's still curled, but it's not nearly as springy and tight, and now this curl is just gonna fall that much faster. So as much as it might seem a little bit strange, it looks funny, hold the curl, make it nice and tight, gravity will do its magic. As I'm pulling the hair through and wrapping it, I'm also sort of smoothing and twirling it just a little bit. I'm not purposely doing a tight twirl, but I find that it helps keep the hair really smooth. See, I held that curl, and look how springy it is. All right, we're done with the left side, moving on to the right. So I'm just gonna switch my glove over. The technique is exactly the same, but you just want to make sure that you're wrapping away from the face. If your curls were to wrap inward, it would drive you absolutely mental throughout the day. So it looks prettier, and it's also just so much easier. Come towards the back so that I can wrap away from the face. You really only have to hold for a couple seconds. In fact, the hairs in the front are a little bit more fine, so you don't even have to hold nearly as long as the hairs in the back. It's another good one. This is like the ideal spiral right here. You can already see how this side has started to fall a little bit, while this side that I just curled is still a little bit tighter. Styling the top of the hair is exactly the same as styling the bottom, but you want to pay attention to where you usually part your hair. So if I usually part here, which is about where I usually part my hair, I don't want to split my hair down the middle over here, because then when I go to part here, the curls are going to be all over the place, they're not going to be going the same direction, and it's going to be a disaster. So I'm going to kind of finger part my hair. Doesn't have to be precise. Really good strong clips are a great investment, especially if you're going to use a hot tool, curling wand, or curling iron. These are from Drybar and I love them. Spritz this piece with my heat protector. Glove goes back on the left hand, And for whatever reason, when I do the top half of my hair, I like to start from the back and work my way to the front. Whereas when I do the bottom half, I'll start at the front, work my way back. I know it looks crazy, and if you've never used a wand, you might be questioning me right now, saying, Erin, look at these short little curls. You gotta trust the process. Here's another good tip that I picked up at the salon. If you're like me and you have a lot of these little baby hairs that do all sorts of curly cues and they're just sort of wild and untamable, if you're using a wand, you don't have to go in with the straightener to straighten them. You can kind of just take the wand and tap it lightly against those hairs that are close to your face. Be so careful. If you're using this close to your face, be so careful. It helps to straighten them out a little bit so that you can go in, curl the hair, but you don't have these little crazy baby hairs. A little rule of thumb that I like to live by, especially when you're curling the back or anywhere that's not directly in the front, if you mess up a curl, don't try to recurl it time and time again. It's not going to look pretty. After the first style, if you've messed it up, just let it go and move on, because once all of the hair falls and it's kind of all mixed in, you're not really going to notice. So it's better to not risk further damaging that piece of hair. If it's in the front, you may want to try a second time, but sometimes once the hair is styled, even if there's like a funny loop, that's just the style that it's going to hold. My curls are now complete, so I'm going to turn off the wand, simply hold down the button, and then it powers down. And I will leave that right here to cool, and I am not going to touch my hair. This is very important. Do not touch it. I know it is so tempting to kind of finger through some of the pieces because the curls are really tight right now. It looks a little bit weird. This is not probably the hairstyle that you're hoping for. Do not touch it. Let the curls completely cool down. Let them hold their shape. It's going to extend the longevity of your curls in the long run. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. If you don't have time, then you don't have time and you just kind of have to run your fingers through your hair and go. I know some people will curl it really tight and then they immediately brush it out. I personally don't like to do that because I think it just sort of defeats the purpose. I like my curls to be a little bit tighter. So I will leave it just like this. I am going to spray it. I generally don't use hairspray. This is a spray that I do love. This is the Shield from Amika. It's their anti-humidity spray. It feels really nice. It smells amazing. It's very lightweight, and anti-humidity is essential for me in Miami. So I'll spray the curls without touching them, without breaking them apart. Just a light mist, and I'll just let it set. I will keep my curls in this very tight state for as long as possible. So I'm actually gonna go run to the dog salon, pick up Jazzy. She's also getting her hair done today. And then I'm gonna come back and I will finish the video. And I'm back, joined here by a special guest, Jazzy the little poodle, who just had her hair styled as well. She's extra poofy. Look at that, your little poof ball. Do you wanna go get a treat? Yes, should we go get a treat? Yes! Now it's finally time. I've let my curls remain intact for as long as possible, and I'm just going to kind of gently start fingering through each piece. I'm not going to brush out my curls. I know some people who will do the wand and then they immediately use a brush like this to just brush everything out. If you want a very soft wave, that would be the way to achieve that look. I like my curls to be a little bit bouncy and a little bit more defined for at least a couple days. And this style will last me 3 to 4 days, and then on day 3, sometimes day 4, that's when I'll go in with the brush and it'll just have a really soft, pretty wave to it. So I'm just kind of gently piecing through it. I'm not really trying to pick each curl apart into several little bits. I'm just running my fingers through and kind of shaking it out. I'll even mess with the part a little bit. All right. Done. I'm not going to touch it anymore because then it might get frizzy and I think it's just going to break up the curls too much. I still want a little bit of definition. And then the last and final step is to spritz it down with a little shine mist. So this is the Wow Color Wow Extra Mystical Shine Spray. It says, "Get lit and keep dark forces at bay." It's a very fine mist and it smells really nice. So for this, I'm only going to spray about mid-shaft down and just the smallest amount. This is like a hair gloss. This was actually sent to me complimentary. I had requested to review it a couple weeks ago and I was just kind of curious about it. And I love it because it is so fine, which is very important. I have a couple hair oils that I really like. The Miriam Covedo hair oil is amazing. I'll generally work in a couple drops of that on day 3 or 4, just in the ends, just to keep them a little bit softer. Overall, I am incredibly happy with my purchase and I do not regret a single cent. I regret not purchasing it sooner, actually, because I've been so happy with it. I experimented with the 1-inch barrel first. The first time is the worst time. It takes time and practice and it turned out really nice. I mean, it wasn't half bad and I really loved the 1-inch barrel. I think the curls hold really well. This style will last me for several days. The 1-inch barrel is definitely the easiest to use. It's just easier to handle, easy to maneuver. The 1.5-inch barrel is the second barrel that I played around with. This is intended for loose waves and it definitely does not give a curl, but it's more of a soft, beachy hairstyle. I was really impressed with how long the style lasted, even though it was a little bit softer and, loose, larger waves. A couple days later, I still had those loose, larger waves. The time I styled my hair with the 1.5-inch barrel, I had done a heavy oil treatment the night before and it didn't rinse out completely. So the style didn't look its best. That's my fault. That is not the fault of the wand. I did still really appreciate the size of the curl. I thought it was really pretty. So this is something that I will be revisiting soon. Diving back into my little T3 bag of tricks, it is really convenient that it comes with the bag so I can store everything together and I won't lose anything. There's one more barrel. This is the tapered wand. It goes from 1.25 inches to 0.75. According to the box, the tapered wand is for tousled waves. I really loved the style when I used this wand and I was so confused by it. I thought I really wouldn't like it or appreciate it, or I didn't think it would do anything different than the 1-inch. But it really does make a difference whenever you're styling the hair. The end result initially was nice, but I actually preferred the style as days went on. So with this wand, I felt like I liked it at first, but it actually got better with time. And I had convinced myself that I would use this more than the 1-inch straight wand, which I don't think is true anymore. But this was sort of a dark horse for me. I really loved it more than I expected to. I think this is a really great wand. The only real con I can think of the T3 Whirl Trio is the price. I believe this retails for $350. It had been marked down to $250 and then it was an additional 20% off. So I feel like I got a great deal on it. But yeah, $350 if you're paying full price. That's a pretty steep price tag. I don't know. I think that's pretty hefty. I'm not sure I would pay the $350. I'm happy to pay the $200 because it does come with the 2 additional barrels. That's the only thing I can think of, and you know, like with most things in life, you get what you pay for. The most important detail is the fact that you can change the heat settings. There are 5 heat settings, and that is so important. There's a little microchip inside that is constantly measuring the temperature to make sure that it doesn't get too hot. That in itself makes the T3 worth it, in my opinion. You will save yourself so much money in the long run because you will have less damage, so you won't have to have as many hair masks and treatments and Olaplex, and it'll just save you so much time, money, and heartache, because once your hair is fried and you have heat damage, there's really no going back from that. You just have to let your hair grow out, chop it off, and start again. It feels incredibly sturdy and durable, but there's also a warranty. So when you get this home, you can register it on the T3 website, and that way they will guarantee the quality of your hot tool. So many great qualities. I'm so happy with it. Not an ounce of regret or buyer's remorse. I love playing around with the different barrels and coming up with cute new wavy hairstyles, and I'm really impressed with how long it lasts. And that completes today's demo and review. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, your questions down below. I love hearing from you guys. I will be listing the hair tool, all of the hair products, everything that I used today on my face down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.